Hi, I'm Kim Hagrick, and I teach middle school, high school Spanish, and have been using standards-based grading for over the past 15 years. This video will introduce how standards-based grading works in my world language classroom. My journey into standards-based grading began when I was frustrated with the textbook, as it wasn't a logical sequence. I wanted to throw out the textbook and create a performance-based report similar to what our elementary school was doing. I wanted the gradebook to document what the students can do with the language, not create a repository of points that didn't convey any meaning of skill proficiency. Homework is practice. It takes hours of practice to move along the proficiency spectrum called interlanguage. The more graded practice, the less likely students will take risks in the classroom and with their language learning. So if we want them to practice, we have to provide the opportunities for them to practice, including modeling the language. ACTFL suggests 90% or more in the target language. So it is not logical to grade practice attempts if we are looking for what they can do in the end. This will take away any risk-taking in the language, and they need the freedom to try something new without the grade attached to each attempt. Assess only when they are ready. The more immediate the feedback, the more effective it is to pushing students to proficiency. I like to sandwich the criticism between positive things that they are doing as well. Oral assessments provide immediate feedback aligned to the standards. Students in my classroom do one-on-one testing to show or demonstrate what they know and can do. I provide them very specific, immediate feedback based on the standards that they are working towards. Written assessments usually take a little longer to provide and receive feedback, but usually within 24 hours students have the feedback they need. The feedback provided should not be generic, such as good job or well done or even A, but specific to the types of errors. For example, don't forget the yo verbs end in O. This will tell the student specifically what they can do to improve or focus their attention to a specific skill or standard. So my standards are based on the skill sets necessary to become proficient in a language. Culture, fluency, input, and output. So everything we do in class is based on progressing the student deeper into these proficiencies. Culture, as you know, is what happens all around us, and this standard is based on the practices, procedures, and products of the culture. Fluency is where we build vocabulary via comprehensible input and output. The vocabulary chosen is not based on a textbook, but rather frequency list, what words are most frequently used in the language. Input is centered around what the student is able to understand through reading and listening, usually via comprehension checks. And as with all skill building, this is done first very structurally with familiar text, and then later as more impromptu conversations and quick reads. Output is how well the student is able to produce the language through speaking and writing. This begins at lower levels first with how well they can communicate their message or how much language they can produce, and later centered around the mechanics of the language. As far as grading, after playing with the idea of a 4-point scale a couple of years ago, I compared the grades students were earning on a 100-point A through F system to those of a A, C, F system that is shown here, and there was really no significant difference. The 0 through 4 scale has prompted lots of discussion with students, and now they are accustomed to the process. This traffic light sums up how students see the 4-point system. Ideally, all students are at a 3-4 level, ready to go to the next challenge. Students at a level 2 are succeeding, but only at a basic level of understanding. Students at a 0 or 1 either have made no attempt or they need significant intervention to help them succeed. For more information or to further this discussion, please contact me using one of these methods.